Hi, chat. How's it going? Today we're going to be starting a little bit of a different build. We have been... Oh, sorry about that, I had to move my mic. We have been working on that city for a long time. And I've kind of toyed around with a lot of ideas of what to make next. I've considered making... These are real ideas, by the way. This is actually the ones that got cut instead of what we're actually doing. I've considered doing some kind of national park, so lots of different, maybe like red rock, like mesas and stuff, high altitude pine trees, maybe hot springs and geysers and ranger towers and something like that is one of the things I play around with. Thought about doing some kind of volcano fortress, a very evil looking architectural thing, incorporating a lot of spikes and other stuff like that. And the last thing I was considering is some kind of glacial area. That one didn't get as far. I was just kind of playing around with it, and I didn't have a lot of places I could take that to be really detailed, other than just build a lot of ice and snow. So I didn't really stick with that one. But what I have stuck with is something a little spookier. This is something that people have made jokes about before. I don't think it's really been a joke on stream as much, but I really like swamps. To the point where it's kind of become a running joke that every D&D location I make ends up in a swamp. I just like swamps. So we're making kind of a haunted bayou town. So something very calm and relaxed, very southern during the daytime, and something that feels a little bit scary or a little bit more ominous during the night is kind of the idea. And that's what we're going to be working on for the foreseeable future. And here's our canvas. It's definitely intimidating to just look at a blank canvas. It's been a little while, to be honest, since I just started building something. I mean, this I started 4 months ago. I built that before even that. I mean, that was last year. It's just every little new build. It takes a while. I say little. I haven't really built much little stuff on here. There's like one ambulance right there. And I guess there's that and that. That's like all the little stuff I've done on this. And that's not going to change because we're going to be doing it again. So this is our canvas. So I have pre-prepared it to be pretty deep. And why we want it a little bit deep is because I'm going to kind of carve away layers of it to make our various waterways and swampy marshland areas. So I think the first thing we want to kind of figure out, see, will the new build contain sinkholes? Probably not. We'll see. We'll definitely have to see. So one thing I would like to do is have some areas that are a little bit more land oriented. Some that are just completely water, as if it's going out into an open lake. And then a lot of kind of areas in between. The main thing I need to figure out... Oh yeah, the chat's still off. There it is. Yeah, I don't really use stream elements for that, but yeah, thank you for reminding me. So yeah, that is pretty much the plan. Did I put this in? I just realized okay, I did put the notification. I just realized I have forgotten a bunch of times recently to do it for a while. So I just should probably make sure. Anyway. Why don't we figure out the basic plan? So Central Bayou area. I'm thinking, well, actually, first of all, I kind of like the idea of starting with kind of maybe a lake area out here. Just a very kind of rough line right now. We'll kind of detail this a little bit more at some point and figure out exactly where everything goes. But for now, let's just draw out some basic designs. This will be our kind of open water area. We could maybe make that a little bigger. We could also make more areas like that. Like maybe taking this line and doing something like that. Expanding it a little bit. Giving it a little bit more room. I don't know how I like that. But approximately we're gonna have some open water out here. Our main kind of bayou area. I'm kind of thinking something out of this area that maybe like turns a bit, kind of twists through here. Then maybe it kind of curves back over this way a bit as it kind of meanders through the swamp. My favorite three colors, red, green, and blue for Whole Town. Yeah, that's actually going to be the challenge of only using these three blocks. Totally. There's going to be some kind of marshy transitional areas between these, but I just kind of want to get like the main waterways down, and they don't need to be super straight or evenly, like any kind of even width, because there's often just kind of weird areas caused by like foliage or other stuff. Like, why don't we just like bring it in a bit here? Maybe it goes like way out again over here. Maybe it gets really wide. And I like the idea of having something branch off here and then like barely connect back to this. So I make kind of a smaller one that just kind of runs off in this direction. These are kind of our main waterways. We'll build a town of kind of stilt huts and other stuff like that along the way. Have like a waterfall. There may be some elevation stuff in this that I'm thinking about. We might play with that a little bit. I have to keep the actual bayou area pretty flat though, because that's how bayous are. But there's a lot of room over here that maybe could be played around with. I do have a basic vision of the plan, and there is a waterfall. So I'm glad you said that, because that's going to be able to segue pretty easily into that. Just kind of gonna break all that. So that's our main area. I feel like this isn't quite enough. I think I want some kind of dead end. We just have this one just kind of go over here. Maybe we could even put some like cliffs or hills like here and here. You know what? That might not be wide enough for what I want to do here. Why don't we bring it a little bit further from the edge? This can be a city with water going through a town or in the forest. So the plan is kind of this kind of ramshackle, spooky bayou town kind of thing. Very swampy and isolated from the outside world. A very calming place in the day, and a little bit spookier, scarier place in the night. So I want to use lighting and other stuff like that and really play around with the vibrant visual stuff to give it that feeling of foreboding at night. It needs the soggy submarines. What in the world? What? Yeah, I'm just gonna agree with that blindly. Yeah. Oh, holy cow! Holy. Thank you for the raid, Triphones. Hope stream was good. Uh, well, thank you. Thank you, milady. Or am I, it doesn't, yeah. But, with a party, with a party of 18, call me whatever you want. We are building kind of a spooky bayou town. We're just starting it because we finished the city recently up there. So we're just kind of getting the very first rivers planned out, and then we'll start detailing some area. Kind of pick an area. If you want very precise light blocks, gonna be your biggest friend. Yeah. Light blocks might get used here. Let's see. Yeah, we could have that one just kind of branch off and end there. So here's kind of a loose idea of the river system. Oh, I don't have follower alerts up. I apologize. There we go. I forgot I had them off for last stream. Lots of blue, yeah. Pretty much anywhere within this zone is going to be mainly more open waterways than swampland. We're just kind of getting a feel for what we want to do here. And then we'll kind of pick an area and figure out what we actually want to do for the stream. What we want to work on. Hey, Moth, hello. I didn't even see your name in there. On the stream. And I did see... There we go. I think everything should be working now. So I'm thinking maybe a cliff over here. Something a little bit higher up just to... I almost want to feel like extra isolated, so I think some nice cliffs up on the edges could make it feel very isolated and away from civilization. Maybe this runs straight into the cliff even. Maybe that's what cuts it. This could even be our waterfall area. Love these type of towns, especially Japanese bayou towns. I always love anything like swampy or jungly. I always just love overgrown areas like that. They're just so pretty. It's actually kind of what got me thinking about this is I forget how far away this is actually to fly up to. We were playing around with like water and foliage stuff up here in the city we just finished. And I just enjoyed making all the little like puddles, and especially, where is it? Oh yeah, the parking garage area. It doesn't look as good without vibrant visuals, but it's still nice. I would just love when there's just areas that are just overgrown. It's actually really cool. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. We've been cooking this build up for a lot of streams, so it's fun to have that one done. Oh, I forgot, with these planning grids I added into the game, they don't render from a certain distance. There's our build. I actually almost forgot where it was. That would have been a problem. I might go quickly put some blocks in the corners that are real. Oh yeah, if anyone's wondering what these blocks are, one of my friends showed me a strategy where they were building using a lot of the grid blocks in the game. Like gold and iron and diamond and netherite and especially smooth stone. And they were like, they were saying like, oh yeah, there's just not that many. And I had never really tried that strategy before of working with grid blocks to kind of get my shapes and colors figured out before I start working on the big stuff. So I decided to make a little mod for them, which is the little planning grid blocks. There's just one for every dye color. And I decided to start using it. I have definitely changed my strategies for building. It is so much better. It's such a nice addition to have. See, Overgrown Seas remind me of Reclaimed Earth and Doom Eternal. Such a great aesthetic. Yeah, where I got that idea from for the city was Dying Light, which actually just beat the third game recently. But man, I always love that. See, where's the non-color planning grid for the air color blocks? That's barrier. You need air colored blocks, you just use barriers. So when I bring in this cliff face a bit, as if this water has kind of carved its way through. Maybe this is the river that goes... I would imagine the stream flows this way. Kind of out of the mountains and towards that lake or ocean. We actually could get some coral in here, if we want to, on the very edge. Then why don't we put some more cliffs right here? We also could do some spooky cave stuff over here. I think one of the main reasons I want to do something spooky is but I fully just lost my train of thought. I just saw a message pop up, immediately started reading it, and then just forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, it's because October is very soon. I love Halloween. Let's see, I love startling people I know by getting streamers to rate them. It's only happened with Dry Bones, but it was funny both times. It is so loud on my end. Oh, I just realized I don't have my game audio on. There's not that much. Make a natural bridge with the elevation. I might be able to find a way to do that. That could be cool. Speaking of really loud notifications, you know what's funny? The raid sound didn't get me, but that did. I don't even know if it shows up on stream. In fact, I don't even think it does. I don't even think you guys hear the sound, but it's like ear piercing for me. But yeah, thank you for the follow, dude with the Z. Thank you. My bad, no, it's all good. It's funny. That's why I haven't fixed it yet. Didn't hear the sound. Is it funnier if no one can hear it but me? Because that's why I've left it. It's kind of funny that I'm the only one who can hear it. Last year was during Monk campaign? I think so. I think it was. Alright, so that looks like a good basic plan. Basically schizophrenia for us, yeah. There's also a weird sound from something I add on that is supposed to be a YouTube subscriber notification. It is broken, so nothing shows up on the screen. There's just a ding in the background. I've tried to turn it off and I don't know where it is, and it doesn't even happen every time. It's inconsistent too, so I genuinely have no clue how to turn it off. Well, thank you for stopping by for a bit, Moth. I appreciate it. So what do we want to do today? Because really we can work on this in any order. We could choose a... Also, we could really start with anything here. This isn't really something we have to pick and choose the order very much of, which is quite nice. We could jump around a bit. I think maybe we want to get something very basic down first to kind of be an indication of kind of the vibe to go for. So while these are going to be the more watery parts, when we start working on the more land-based parts. So honestly, I think we're probably going to use more moss than... Oh, maybe mud. You know what? I think mud will work a little bit better. Yeah, and then with moss accents, I think could be quite nice. This is like actually relaxing. It is actually just very chill. We've definitely tried to make it a little bit more chill. It's just fun to sit back and build something sometimes. Or just kind of hang out with chat. It's nice. Man, I didn't know apples and the moth were related. That's new. Had to make some water blocks for that extra bit of detail. Yeah, we're gonna need to add some water eventually. You know, we might need a little bit more room here. We might need to push back the cliff a bit, but that's why we build it with planning grids first. We can just kind of put it wherever we want. We can always move the lines. Oh, you know, it'd be kind of nice. Maybe, actually, we'll play with that in a sec. So why don't we try and focus on this little embankment for today? Just a little embankment, and then when we're done with that, we'll move on to something else. We could do along the whole side of here, though I think after a little bit, we could just start doing a little bit of the river, because we'll want to carve a bit of that out. Oh, that reminds me, we're probably going to want to just replace a lot of this planning grid with mud eventually. One other block I really like to use on swampy builds is soul soil. It's a really nice complement to mud. Feels just a little less mucky, but still very, still kind of like a wet soil. Which is very much not what it is lore-wise in the game, but that's the beauty of it. You can make it whatever we want. Of course, I'm going to detail this more. Unfortunately, soul soil is something you kind of have to break up the texture of if you want to look nice. Fill biome would make this much easier. Yeah, it doesn't exist on this version, which kind of sucks. I'm gonna have to work with the watercolor we have, which, what is it? Not the best. It's fine. I do hope they add fill biome at some point. In vibrant visuals, it won't be as noticeable. And I really want to play around with lighting a lot for this. So I think it'll be fine. Minecraft biomes are weird, yeah. They can be a little strange sometimes. Let's see, let's kind of get some splotches of green starting to propagate in here. If I excavate an entire desert, does it still count as a desert? I mean, if you want to get really technical, yes. A desert is an area with very little plant life. As a technicality, like technically Antarctica's a desert. So as long as you don't put a bunch of plants there, yes, it would. It just wouldn't look like what most people would consider a desert. That's probably the nerdiest possible explanation I could have given, but there's the... It is what it is. And apparently it's a desert. See, let's bring up the elevation a little bit back here. Idea sinkhole beneath the swamp and it's more swamp. We could do some fun stuff with caves. I did lift up this off the ground enough that we can play around with the stuff underneath it. Sometimes I think I have a good attention span. I don't know how you do this. I mean, I don't work on it that much per week. Like a stream or two a week for like a few hours. So I mean, as long as I can just focus for a little bit, can. And also, I pick builds that are good for keeping myself entertained because I have ADHD, so I have a hard time sticking with one thing, which is actually one of the reasons I love the city build so much. I could kind of jump between architecture and foliage and story and a lot of other stuff like that. Leaf layer for blending, yeah, we probably will. Yeah, I mean I also jump between chat like that. Yeah, it's a lot of different things. Yeah, that's honestly my main strategy for building is I pick builds that I can do a lot of different things. Because for this, we have the water sections. We're gonna have the bayou town kind of around here. We'll have the cliffs and the land sections and the trees and all of the different aspects that make up this area. So I can kind of jump between them. A little bit of moss over here. He is zombie king for this land. Yeah, I am realizing I'm making a lot of things that have vague connections to some kind of horror genre, and I don't even really care for horror. I mean, we're making a spooky bayou town. We've got a zombie apocalypse city up there. I think that's just there is a reason that kind of stuff has been on my mind recently. That it's going to release pretty soon. It is coming along so quickly. Um, but that'll be soon. On a new channel with some other people, with 5 other people that I've talked about way too much, probably. I am just a natural, just yapper. I cannot shut up about things sometimes. So when there's something I'm working on in the background, it is so hard not to spoil everything constantly. The moment I get distracted from whatever I'm doing on that subject, oh, it's impossible to get me off of it. So I'm just gonna drop that there before I can't shut up about it. See, plot twist. This is actually a prototype for a room that appears in Area 5 of the roguelike. Oh yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, because I know we have a lot of new viewers here, I've just been building an entire roguelike game in Minecraft. Just off stream. I don't know if there's anything I can add to that, really. But yeah, we've been building an entire roguelike. I'd say we. Actually, that's just been me. I just thought it'd be a fun project, so I did. And that's been a pretty cool thing to work on. I think we have 2 areas done right now. There will be more. Wandering Trader controls the land. I gotta give the Wandering Trader more lore for that roguelike game. Everyone's just like latched on to that specific thing because I think it's the only like being in the game that anyone knows about other than just the classes, starting classes. I have been working on the new video for that roguelike game. It's just very slow going because I keep changing my mind on how I want the summon system to work. So I keep like writing down notes and everything about how I want to work and like sketching out ideas and stuff. And then I just pivot like the next day. Or I'll go back to a previous one, but I'm like, no, I want to rework it because it wasn't good the first time. So presumably someday I'll get that all done. Hopefully. Yeah, I think this wall's too close. I don't like how close it is. Haunted by you, the one who treasures corrupted, retreat, hunt him down, return the treasures to the gods. Yeah, that'll definitely be the lore. There's probably just gonna be a lore update for that at some point where I just add a bunch of just lore details for that game. That'll probably just be its own video. Yeah, I like that better. That gives us a little bit more room to breathe. And a little bit of land that's maybe a little less just wet. Though it is a bayou, so we're probably going to want some like puddles and stuff over here. In fact, why don't we make a little puddle over here? Let's see. Look at this. Oh wait, is this already elevated? I think we elevated everything by accident. By one. But that's fine, because we have no basis for this right now, so it doesn't matter. We have no target height. Fine. So that'll be water right there. No, it's a little too flat and similar to each other. Why don't we get a little bit of mud going over here as well? There we go. I have to go soon. My phone's about to die. I lost the charger. Should probably go find that. Yeah, thanks for stopping by for a bit, though. I appreciate it. Do we want to continue? Honestly, I'm shocked at how quick this is going. I'm a little worried for how long. You know what? I was going to say I'm a little worried this build's going to be too fast. If it is, we'll just make another one. We'll just start the next project. I don't think this is taking as long as the city, though. The city took forever. Because we did every interior. We did the sewers. We did the metro. We had actual, like, real world accurate storm drains and manholes. Like, I don't think it's going to take as long as doing all that. A little bit of this. This might be a good place for a little bit of a steeper embankment. Yeah, we could even go all the way up here with some of it. That moss could help us transition into that cliff face a little bit better. A Minecraft sewer system sounds convoluted. Oh, it was. That was a difficult stream, to be honest, but shockingly, I think it was the highest viewership we had the entire city build. So I guess people just really like sewers. We love storm drains. Yeah, we love storm drains. Lore accurate storm drains are great. This cliff is probably going to be taller, but we'll just leave it at that for now. So you're probably wondering why I marked out this as the water and then didn't have this go all the way. I'm kind of thinking this zone. So this area of green and directly on this line is kind of the more broken up land. Bits that go above the surface and bits that just don't quite get there. I guess I can kind of show what I'm talking about. I'll put like bits broken up around here. Just to kind of get that very swampy transition into the water. It's not going to be exact. We're just going to kind of use the blue as like a little bit of a guide. You know, some of the little islands are more like this. And this just kind of gives us a feel for where we actually want proper deep water. And everything else in here is just going to be very shallow networking water between. Toilet humor strikes again. Yeah, that might be why everyone liked the storm drain so much. I mean, I just like to think everyone just really loves civil engineering in Minecraft. I'm sure everyone's real interested in that. Who knows, maybe they are, actually, don't know. I think that was one of the few times for a build I actually properly researched something to make sure it was accurate. I don't think of when I've actually done that. I've researched Spanish and English forts before to build that over there, that star fort, stuff like that. Will this build contain sewer runoff? I think I thought about that for a lot longer than I needed to, but I mean, who knows what's upstream from this place? It could be. Who knows? Maybe it's like right near this, and everyone here is just fine from the whole zombie thing. Get this going. Bit of that. There we go. That'll hopefully look a little bit better once we get some water and trees in there and foliage to kind of make it look a little less pixely. That's the kind of the thing with Minecraft. You have to utilize the voxely, pixely, cube nature of the game because it looks nice. But at the same time, sometimes for details and organic things, you want to kind of hide the blocks a little bit to make it feel a little smoother and more immersive. It's just kind of a hard balance to find sometimes. What doing? Oh, we're just building mud. We got mud. You want some mud? You want to roll around in it? We've got plenty. Yeah, but we're building a spooky kind of bayou town. Or at least the very starts of the bayou area for it. The Sog Bog. Ah, yes. I don't know if I like that all the way out here. I like for some of these. Yeah, we could mix in a little bit of this in a few of these spots. Yeah, that ties it in a little bit better. So there's our first little bit of land. So we could start on this, because honestly we finished this really quick, and then we could detail both at the same time. I think the main Bayou Town kind of area is going to be right in here. In fact, maybe we want a little more room for that. So why don't we bring out the bayou over here. Or maybe not that, but bring out this to here, a little further from the proper open water line. Could be nice. So then we can have that broken up terrain a little bit more on this side, to give a nice spot for all those little like stilt houses and stuff like that. I did realize I just connected this to this pretty much. That's not how I want that to look. We'll figure that out later. That's not today's problem. So why don't we just get a basic outline of kind of the more structural land area. I kind of like the idea of bringing it in a bunch over here and then kind of bringing it back out again, because it doesn't need to exactly reflect the other line. We can kind of play around with it. Like maybe this area is a little less broken up, but this is just, you know, water's kind of run through it in a lot of different ways. It's gotten broken up by roots and other stuff. We can start adding a little bit of full soil, break it up again. Maybe this actually connects. Maybe that's just like a big kind of lump of it. And connect it to some of this. Different patches of different things that have been broken up over time. Different sediment deposits. There we go. A little bit of this. So we're probably not going to put a lot of the moss right near the water, because that's where the ground cover doesn't really fill in as much in a place like this, because there's always sediment getting kind of washed over top of it. So a lot of the ground cover and shorter plants that's what the moss kind of represents, would be a little bit more inland. And a lot of those kind of reeds and rushes and other stuff like that would be a little bit further out. Have this kind of intrude a little bit as well. Kind of break things up. Yeah, maybe this does grow out here just like a little bit, but not much. We can just kind of see what areas look a little wrong and then tweak them until it looks right. A little bit of this. A little bit of that. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good start on this little island. It's not much. Maybe on this side it's raised up a little bit, but maybe not on both. Just a little bit over here is kind of... maybe had a little bit more build up since it's a little closer to that larger body of water. Kind of at the end of that river delta. It does look like only or all the moss is now raised up except for a few. So why don't we mix in a little bit of lower moss as well? There we go. Maybe just a tiny bit over here that's raised up. There we are. That feels quite nice. And I think why don't we put on some of that more broken land on this, and then we can start putting in some of the foliage and making it look real nice. And getting in there with a little bit more blending, because right now the moss is not broken up very well. Just start by fragmenting it with this material. Then we can get in there with some of the other things. Put this all over here. Lovely. Fill in all of this. We can start removing all of this. And right now, it's just a very kind of nice bit of foliage over here, or a nice bit of just a nice little river right now, but eventually we'll make it a little bit more spooky. I think that'll be quite fun. A little bit of a change of pace. This. Back, found my charger. You found it. The legendary item. You have returned from your quest. Look at this. I'm kind of surprised how quickly this is getting done. But that's okay. We can go as fast or as slow as we want. There's no end time I need to get this all done by, and there's just no real time limit. Let's see. I left for a couple seconds. How'd you get all this done? You cheating? Yeah, it's actually I have the stream sped up. It's been 2 times speed this whole time. How'd you know? Don't worry about how I stream in 2 times speed. I'm just really fast. Needs a Breath of the Wild shrine in the center. See, how slow are you talking? You sound normal in 2 times speed. Yeah, I am a very slow talker. That's one of my strengths. That's how no one ever notices. Alright, just had a drink of water. So I just pause for a sec. So, moss. We need grass. I'll worry about moss carpet along with some of the other detailing. Green wool is really nice. It's just hard to work with sometimes, so we have to use it very sparingly. The most wet areas are going to be green wool, and the a little bit more dried out areas are going to be grass. Since they all have a slightly different shade and hue to them. Give me some more, stop hogging all of it. No, I need it. I gotta fill a bayou with it. It's all mine. If you must die of thirst, then at least the bayou shall have water. A little bit right there. Just incorporate a little bit of grass up here. There we go. It's not much, but it adds just a little bit to it. That can make a difference. Before we actually get the foliage in, we are going to need to figure out where a riverbed is. Bayous aren't particularly deep in most places. So the deepest we're probably going to go anywhere is 3-block deep water. Just enough that things could be lurking, but just shallow enough that it still feels like a bayou. We can go pretty close to these broken up blocks. We're gonna kind of just sculpt this, kind of as if we're just chiseling away stone. And we can take out some kind of larger swaths here and there as well. For when we want these more open areas. Maybe we'll put like a little fishing boat out here or something, because I do want to make this lake on this side a little bit more interesting. Because naturally it's just not going to have as much in it, because it's an open area. It's one of the few open areas we're going to have for this entire build. Honestly, I think 75 by 75 is just such a good little space to build in. It's big enough that you can do a lot of ideas, but small enough you don't get like so carried away and have the time to work on the details. And it still has some kind of restriction, because I really think that a lot of good creativity comes from being under restrictions of some sort. Even if they're not very strict ones. Let's see, the lizard just finished molting his piece of his little skin in his mouth. Won't let me grab it. It's been a week with it on. With that piece on. Your fat lizard. I mean, if the lizard just... Maybe it's the new style among lizards. Have you considered that? Let's see, Farmer said she got the rare 777 build in Pelatra, and I must come tell you. That's the most powerful build, I hear. I mean, I hear it's particularly lucky. You know, I was kind of thinking about this today, because I was in the mood for Minecraft, because Minecraft Live and everything. And I was like, wow, literally last night, I streamed, and I'm like, yeah, it's probably going to be like a week or two until we start up the next build project, and then... well, here we are. She lost pretty early. I know. I didn't say lucky for Frogmire, I said lucky. For me. I win because Frogmire lost. Let's see, I prefer 80 by 80 divisible by 16. That's a good point. I just like odd numbers for builds. Because if you have an odd number, then you can have a one block center, and that's just a little easier for a lot of things. I think for this build, I think 80 by 80 would have probably been fine. But yeah, like for the city, we needed a two block or a one block center. I guess maybe not needed. I like one block center better. I've always found it's a little easier. Oh wait, no, we did need it. Now that I think about it, we had lines in the road, and that's what relied on. I thought something relied on. I just couldn't remember. This. My dog keeps staring at my pet lizard. I think she wants to eat him. Yeah, I wouldn't trust those two creatures in the same room. Same reason, like I love my cats and I trust them for the most part, but I also wouldn't just leave my fish tank with an open roof. Though honestly, I don't think they'd realize they don't really look at the fish. They used to actually spend a lot of time just sitting up there. We used to have like a pillow that sat next to the two fish tanks. They used to stare in there, watch them. They just kind of stopped eventually, and I don't really know why. My personal theory is they just wasn't interesting to them anymore, and as I started doing stuff with real plants and stuff, the fish got more places to hide, so they just lose them, and it wasn't as entertaining. They always love watching some little like loaches in there. These little long, weird-looking fish. They live for like 15 years. Wait, no, not 15, 8. That's different fish that lives that long. I used to keep more fish, but I haven't really replaced them as much as they've died out over the years. Now I think all I've got is 8 rainbow fish, 3 loaches, an eel, some shrimp. Just a pair of shrimp. There used to be more, but you know, shrimp don't live that long. Though I actually think that the ones I have are over the life expectancy for that kind of shrimp, so I'm not sure really how they're still kicking, to be honest. But hey, they're here. Hey, welcome to the stream, Beetle. We are making a spooky little bayou town. One thing that's gonna be nice is we're making enough progress in this stream, I might be able to get a new thumbnail for the YouTube stream, which would be very nice. There we are. We're not gonna worry too much about this lake out here. Oh, exciting, yeah. I'm pretty excited for this one. I think it'll make a good, just kind of Halloween build. Oh, I have learned a new trick that I didn't put the correct syntax in. Ominous fog. Hang on, wait, where's the sun? It should be straight up. Sun's gone. Cool. Sun is gone. But I can add this kind of ominous fog. I really would like a way to push it closer, but I don't really know how to do that. It's just something I've been playing around with a little bit. Let me hope I can remove this now. I think it's fog s remove. Yes. Yeah. I'm probably going to have to look up all the different fog types. You know what? Let's look up fog command, Bedrock Edition, and just see what if there's a couple options. Is there a list of all the types of fog anywhere? Minecraft fog list. I'm sure this will come up with the correct thing. Oh wait, no, this is real. This I actually can do this. There's so many. Could you use a command block to make it so when you go to this building it activates? Oh, that's actually really smart, so I don't have to manually do it. Yeah. That actually wouldn't be too hard. I mean, we could always try like an underwater one. Like fog deep ocean. I guess that didn't do anything. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out how this works. Because I don't think I fully understand. Is there Soul Sand Valley? Like that could look nice. Is there? Oh, there's Fog Swampland. Is this interesting? Okay, that's nothing. Is it 2 words for Soul Sand Valley? No, okay, Soul Sand, 1 word. Valley. It's not very close. I kind of wish there was a way to make the fog closer to the player. Though I do think this is an improvement, because if you look over there, it's foggy. Is there a way to make it closer? Does anyone know? May turn down your render distance? Oh wait, actually that's like so real. Just gonna. No, it looks like the fog isn't affected by that. I do wonder if there's a way to make fog closer. It's actually I'll just look that up real quick. Can add layers of fog. So what you're saying is we could add more layers of fog. So we could add like warp forest. Oh no, that just changes the color. I'll play around with this at some point off camera. And we'll see if there's a fog we can add that would be suitable for this. Yeah, we need foggier fog. I might use that fog command for something in the future, though. It's quite cool. It might honestly be really fun for the roguelike in certain zones to make it foggy. Give a little less view distance up ahead. Darn, my fog isn't fogging. Yeah, watch out, there's a fog distance setting might be added by Optifine. Yeah, I'll have to look into how to make this work the way I want it to. It would be very much scary if this area had harpoon bugs. You've just triggered so much just repressed Silksong memory. Again, not the harpoon bugs. Not the harpoon bugs. Why does it have to be them? Oh, you guys want to hear a new glitch I've been seeing recently on YouTube? So there is 3 people who have actively said things in chat on YouTube in the past like 5 minutes or so. For the past 15 plus minutes, it's shown 1 viewer. And I don't fully know why. I think it's part of that thing where they're hiding certain views. So that's probably it. I think it's something about like an ad blocker or something that hides views. It's weird. I think that's what people figured out it was. I forget. It's fine. No, I don't really make money off ads anyway, so it doesn't hurt me at all. I can definitely see why people would use an ad blocker on YouTube, though. I personally use YouTube Premium for that exact reason. It is a nightmare to try and navigate YouTube with ads. It is just, there's so many. Or I'm just a complainer, one of the two. Probably the latter. There we go. You know, I want to bring this actually up a little bit. As watch the ads with the mentality, it gives the creator more money. It's shorter than the commercials on cable. Yeah, it is nice. That's why I use YouTube Premium instead of an actual ad block, because it still gives creators money. And I just want to be able to support people like that. I don't make money off it yet, so don't feel bad. Actually, it might hurt my stats. I have no clue, but not like I would know in the first place. I actually don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it, I do wonder if that affects anything, but it's not anything I could ever test or figure out, so who knows? Kind of like the idea of maybe like an area that kind of juts out a little bit. It isn't quite as deep. I have been thinking about what happens when I hit 500 recently, subscribers on YouTube. And I did kind of on a whim promise something on Discord. And I'm realizing if I upload a roguelike video in the next 2 weeks, I will likely hit that goal, and then I'll have to commit to what I said on Discord. So, oops. I'll just have to live, I'll just have to live with my decisions of saying that. For anyone who's not on there, Disco's like, oh, you should add this block, this like meme block, and I said, oh, if I hit 500 within the next 2 weeks, I'll make an entire video adding features that viewers suggest. And, you know, maybe that wasn't the smartest idea to just say that out of nowhere, because that is so much work. But you know what? I said it, and I will follow through on it if it happens. Roguelike video will be delayed until 1 day after this. I'm gonna release it whenever it is. This would be cool if the houses in Bayou were suspended in the air with poles like those mine sports. Yeah, still nuts and stuff. That actually is the plan. Since that's how a lot of houses in areas like this are made in real life. One thing I'd actually like is maybe to put some animals in this one. We can make like a little border on the map so nothing can escape. And then just put a bunch of little like critters and stuff running around. Yeah, frogs. Maybe an axolotl or two. What else lives in a swamp? Fish, obviously. Fish are the main thing. Trust me, 500k special eating wood on toast. Okay, bet. If I get 500k in the next 2 weeks, I'll put wood on toast and eat it. Because that, you know, I'll do it. But also, that's not going to happen. 0% chance that happens. So I'm fine promising things that I have no plans to ever do. Let's grab some other material. I swear I'm gonna wake up tomorrow morning and someone's made like 400,000 alt accounts. That doesn't. If you make 400, that's not how this works. I would get banned if someone did that. So please don't. Also, I am of the firm belief subscribers mean nothing if they're not actual people. I have so many alt accounts that I use for various stuff. None of them are subscribed to me because what does the number matter? The number doesn't do anything. All right, so here's the plan for filling in this area quickly. Command block. I'll just go straight to repeating. Now I'm gonna really hope I don't mess this up. Execute as at P. No one else can join this world, right? I don't think so. That should be fine to say at P. Just in case someone wants to troll me, let's just make sure. I think it might be open to friends. Positioned as at S. Run fill. 2. -2. Negative like 15 maybe. Okay, go. Definitely not gonna make a bunch of alts. That would take years. I swear. Like, it takes so long to make a Google account. Also, that's not the way I want to get to that number. That would be I've actually said this in the past. My like stretch goal for YouTube is to someday hit 10k. That is my stretch goal. My goal is not like even to a plaque. I think that would be an amount where I'd be like, yep, I'm happy with that. Because that would just mean there's a good amount of active people in chat constantly. Which, to be honest, there is right now as well. So that's really my only proper goal. Mud. I already put in mud. I mean, a Google account takes 3 minutes, so you can make 5 of that in a time with multiple browsers open. Okay, but 499,000 is still a lot. That's a ton of time. Also, why? What will be the end goal? I just know it was a bot. You can't fool me with this. I shouldn't even brought up this concept. Okay, so I think that's probably right. I'm sure it doesn't need any testing. Oh, it didn't delete everything underneath me. That's what we love to see. Okay, so now I am the paintbrush. So if we just kind of go around, it'll just kind of wherever we want to paint, fill it in with mud. So we'll texture this, of course, but mud is going to be the predominant thing at the bottom of the swamp because, obviously, according to my math, it would only take 208 days to make 500,000 Google accounts. Okay, so that should be fine. The pieces are already falling together. What are you doing? I'm gonna go check and it's gonna be like in quadruple digits, and then we get an email. It's like your account's been terminated for botting. It's like, oh, cool. I love filling in stuff this way. It's just a very satisfying way to do this. So why don't we get a good temporary block in? Also, we're just going to flip this off for now. Yeah, I'm going into Xbox I've been seeing it. And seeing it says that you were last online 556 days ago? Wait, what? That's strange. That's really strange. I want a game that's filled with lots of bots. You have to guess what people are bots, but the entire lobby is filled with people. I actually know a game similar to that. There is a game where pretty much you're a sniper and your friend is a spy. You're trying to figure out who they are in a room with a bunch of NPCs, and they have to complete objectives while you're trying to pick who it is, and you only get one shot. It's called Spy Party. Never actually played it myself. I just know about it. All right, so how do we want to do this? Probably with just black concrete. I think that's a good way. Or you know what? We could make it glass. Discord client was broken for a year, so I couldn't use the sharing activity thing because of this. It's under the impression that I've never played Terraria before. I have turned off activity sharing because I don't like people to know when I'm just not responding to messages and playing games. Because, like, sometimes I'll just be like, I just want to relax and play some games. It's not often I do that, but there's sometimes. Though, one of my favorite hobbies is just when I see a lot of Steam friends are online to just open and close let's see, Colonel Sanders' finger licking good dating game. Because that is a thing I have in my Steam library, and I did play it all the way through on stream one time. That was a stream. Um, and it's great, but also it has ruined my Steam recommendations. To just have that game. It's destroyed my Steam recommendations permanently. I all like a shocking amount of recommendations are just dating games now because of that. That is the only one I've ever played because I don't like that genre of game, to be honest. It's great if you do. I don't have anything against it. It's not for me. I'd like to go talk to real humans. It's we. I don't know. I don't like talking to the AI. But yeah, it's cooked my YouTube recommendations. All right, over here we do this. Yeah. Because every time I try and join an event, it never says you're online, you have to manually invite me. Yeah, maybe I should try and fix that at some point. Little did he know, he's been playing a dating sim every Tuesday and Wednesday for the last 3 months. No, I didn't even know Rain World was a dating sim this whole time. I've been tricked. So, how do we want to fill this in? Maybe any other blocks I want? Any other muds? Oh, yeah, some of this. Say, how could it not be a dating game? Have you seen Gourmand? How could you not love him? That's a good point. He is so very evil. Oh, so there's a thing that's upcoming, and we're making reference images for some art for it. And we're toying around with what I'm gonna look like for it. And by we, I mean, to be honest, mainly maybe, is I'm kind of partially in charge of that. I'm kind of partially in charge of a lot of things, to be honest, because I'm the one who organized it originally. But I look slightly evil, to be honest, because we played around with a lot of designs that were a little bit friendlier, but just didn't have the right, just mysterious and maybe slightly kind of knows something you don't know kind of look to it. This is gonna sound insane if no one knows what I'm talking about. So there's a D&D thing that's upcoming. I am the dungeon master for it. This isn't just we need a mysterious looking picture of me. But we actually like, so I was playing around with characters. I keep saying we because like I want to give credit to everyone else, but genuinely I was just the one playing around with this. I know a lot of stuff about like character design regarding like how to use different lines and stuff. So we used a lot of like vertical stuff for that design because a lot of the time like if you're gonna have something like very diagonal, it often, even in a still image, makes it look like it's in motion, it's dynamic, it's moving. When you have a lot of horizontal line language, it makes it feel very sturdy. When you have more vertical lines like that, it feels very authoritative, in charge, confident. So that's what we kind of wanted to go for, because I would describe myself as a fairly confident person. And also, since I am the dungeon master for that, we want something that looked very in charge and knows something that the players don't, because literally I almost always will. Because that's my job. So I'm very excited for when that gets finished. We've been using a 3D program, like a 3D character creator, to get reference art for our artist. So we've been playing around with that. So that'll be cool to reveal at some point. Let's see. Well, I don't know anything about character creation. I just throw a bunch of paint on paper and then squint at it and says, yeah, that looks like a scientific magician guy. Yeah, I mean, that can do it. There's a lot of stuff with like how you want to use different colors or lines and all that kind of stuff. Honestly, the one I come back to a lot is that kind of line language thing with horizontal, vertical, and diagonal. And just kind of those root meanings, because they don't always mean that, but it's a very good jumping off point for that kind of thing, is to understand those different things. And start using a little bit of that line language. The one thing is I feel like I vaguely look like the antagonist from Ace in the Roll, who I played, and he is the worst possible person I could think up, pretty much. So I don't know how happy I am about that, but it's fine. At the end of the day, I am the guy who plays all of the villains, so maybe slightly villainous is what we want. Which is funny. I really do enjoy playing villains a lot because I really like giving other people the spotlight when I can. I like making my friends the protagonists. It's fun that way. Not to say I don't like the other things. Um, but I don't know, I just always kind of enjoyed that. Also, I like to think of myself as a really nice person in real life. I hate being mean to people. So it is kind of funny to play evil people. Let's see. I like films that look like a good guy, and good guys are that look like the villain aren't trying to hide it. The good guys that and bad guys that look like no, they are. They're just the opposite. They just look like the opposite. I don't know if I fully comprehend what you're saying, but I think I do. Like when you have heroes that look like villains, villains that look like heroes, kind of thing. That is kind of a fun trope. This is for the D&D podcast thing. Grace eating foals. What? How'd you guess the name? That's totally it. Oh yeah, well, there's a name now. Starts with an S. I can't announce it yet. We're waiting on that, but it will be soon. Shockingly soon. Within the next couple, like under a month, probably first episode will come out. We are like speed running. Let's see. Let's see. I have a much better way of creating characters. First, I go into an AI. No, stop it. Yeah, oh, yeah, no, you got it. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, that was evil. Disco had to execute him. Yeah, good. Well, that is a good example of that trope. You are the darkness on a mission to kill the light. Yeah, it is always kind of fun. Like there's something I've been watching for a while. Where actually everyone's gonna think this is something other than what it is when I say it, but I'm not gonna change what I was about to say. There's something I've been watching for a while that is the main characters are pirates and the main antagonists are Navy. It's not an anime because I have a feeling most people are gonna go to One Piece when I say that. I have never seen any of that. I am not cultured in any anime. I apologize. Mega and Ender have gotten me to watch a little bit, but I know very little still. Is it Jake and the Neverland Pirates from Disney Junior? Not quite. It's called Just Roll With It, Riptide. I think there's someone here who knows what that is, but actually I don't know if they're still here. I know. Very nerdy things. Right, we want to get some moss down here. Just large swaths of the stuff. There we go. A little bit of a start. Doodler, I have no idea how to respond to that comment. But I have nothing. I have nothing for that one. I'm sorry. I have no way of responding to that. I just feel like there's an obvious joke, but I won't make it. See, I just looked it up. I am watching 115 episodes. Is there only 115 for One Piece? I actually thought it was more. I know someone who's seen the entire show twice, which is insane to me. I should probably try other animes at some point, but Sorry, I just saw what was happening in Twitch chat. It doesn't show up on stream. But I did see Apple's pin the spam message. And then just go ban it. I so thought you were just gonna leave it pinned. This is a bit. Man. Who else just sitting in a dried up muddy pond, just putting moss on the floor? So relaxing. Yeah, I've been trying to think of what to do for future streams because I don't know if Outer Wilds was really a great stream game, to be honest. So I don't think I'm going to continue that one on stream, but that does mean we are only at 2 series right now. This and Rain World. And I like to have 3. So I've been kind of trying to figure out what I want to do for that last one. I haven't quite figured it out yet. I've been considering possibly Terraria Calamity. Starts coughing uncontrolled because I try and discreetly say the game what we play is Doors. It's probably Doors, right? Or is it different this time? It might be something else. I've been thinking about maybe Hades too. That's another game that starts with D. Oh. Never mind, I know. I'll do Deltarune at some point. It'll happen. I was actually kind of shocked with how much people enjoyed the Helldivers stream. So I considered for a bit doing a little bit more of that. The issue is getting people who are available to do that is a nightmare every time. So it's just not something I could do frequently. And also I've played a lot of that, so you know it gets old for me even sometimes. Like I'm kind of taking a little break from it. Trying to think of what else has performed well. I've thought about maybe doing Slime Rancher 2 now it's fully out. But also, I've kind of been taking it as a sign of what people want to watch when I like get more active chat in certain streams. So a lot of the time I'll look at the chat rate and the concurrent viewers to figure out if a stream is good or not and if I should continue it. One of the reasons I didn't do another Slime Rancher stream was because that one was one of my worst performing in a long time. Chat rate wasn't bad though, because that's just the only way I can really like numerically measure how much people like a specific thing, other than people joining the stream being like, I like this game. Put his hand in front of you like Mr. Peabody. Ooh, you want to play one shot. I do worry that that's not really a game I enjoy, or a game type I enjoy as much. Like, Undertale was good, but like, I wouldn't say it's a genre I particularly like. It was a good game though. Maybe it would be the same. But this is the issue, I get really indecisive. I love Slime Rancher, I love Puddle and Phosphor, accidentally forgetting to feed my boom lives for 30 days. I mean, as long as they can't get out, you can go as long as you want without feeding them. Once Shut isn't an RPG, I figured it was just the same thing as that. As Deltarune and Undertale, to be honest. I have actually a list of games, I think, somewhere that I've been considering playing. Let me see if I can find it. Which Google account is this on? Games stream. Subnautica, Wobble Dogs, Astroneer. Oh, Terraria's gone from this list. Slime Rancher. Meta interactive puzzle game. We could try it. Oh, one I've been considering trying is you want Wobble Dogs? Wobble Dogs has been on my list for a while. In fact, I actually recorded and then never finished a video on it a year and a half ago. What the heck is a Wobble Dog? Oh, Wobble Dogs would be cute. Okay, so is this the consensus of what I should stream? Wobble Dogs. We could do Wobble Dogs. I don't think that would be a stream series. That would probably be like a here and there kind of game. Because I will say 3.5 hours of Wobble Dogs can be a lot. So I was gonna make a video on it. In fact, I have a thumbnail for the video. It was that close to done, and then it didn't live up to my quality standards, so I didn't ever release it. Let me find it. Let me find my thumbnail for this video. This was a prototype. I only have the prototype thumbnail. It was like a proof of concept. The Corpse Devourer. So, the plan on that video, I just started farming dogs to feed to other dogs. That was the main thing I was up to. It was something. I was gonna try and make something immortal. I was just essentially gonna try and make some kind of like eldritch god. And I just never finished it. That's such a fun thumbnail. Yeah, maybe we'll have to use it at some point. I just think it would be fun to create a Wobble Dog that just it has like 1,000 heads and 1,000 legs and it's just like biblically accurate. That would probably be the end goal of that stream, is to make a biblically accurate dog. I think that might be fun about doing it on streams. I could let chat name some of the dogs. So his plan is to wait till I forget that I want him to play games, and they'll just blindside me with them. See, my stream plan is half of what chat wants and half of what I happen to feel like that day, which is why they'll just be like streaks of certain games all in a row. So it's all about just a mix of those. Fill this bog with pilk. No. Absolutely not. You're going in the timeout corner. Also, that's the second person who's brought up pilk to me today. Separate people, completely different conversations, and people have brought this up to me. Is there some new trend regarding it or something that is the reason why people keep bringing it up to me? Or is this just a really odd coincidence? It's important. Yeah, I guess it really is. Yeah. You fill the bog with mug root beer. That we could do. That's reasonable. Yes, I win. Yep, you win. Rubier. Let's see, a little bit of this. Just some splotches of green just all around. I really gotta find some new games to play. Oh yeah, I actually just finished one today. It was not one I was gonna play on stream, to be honest. I think it would not be a game that people in chat would enjoy. Um, called Dying Light the Beast. That's actually when the Pilk thing got brought up to me. I was just blasting people with a shotgun in the middle of a stealth mission while I was waiting for Minecraft Live to start with Captain Chimney and Ender in the call. I was just screen sharing, and then out of nowhere, Ender just started asking me about Pilk. Don't ask? Okay, fine, I won't ask about what you just said. I'll just judge you in silence. Okay, judging completed. So we need water now to fill in this area. So we're not ready to fill in some of these areas with water yet, so we're just going to block them off. Simple as that. Actually, I think that's the only area we're not ready to fill in yet. We'll sculpt that out later. What? Will you be connections with me? What does that... Wait, could a connection spare for... What are you asking me for? I don't even understand. I feel like I don't understand anything anymore. Oh wait, how deep is this? Oh wait, also this needs to be... What specific Y level is this before I mess something up? Negative 35. And down to like... That's the lowest point, negative 39. I know it said 40, but we're going one above it. And water. Space keep. Okay, I'm worried about this one. This might mess up some stuff. No, we're good. Oh, it's not replacing the flowing water. I'm sure this won't cause any lag. There we go. Now it'll smooth out. This is probably the fastest way I could fill water. Roblox? Ah, okay. I see. I don't know Roblox things. All I know is life is Roblox. The off-topic question, are there any plans to put the Rain World / still building streams in playlists? I could. That'd be super easy, by the way. Oh, I could do that in like 5 minutes. I could just do that if that's something people want. If there's VOD watchers out there. Hello, VOD watchers, if there are any. You may not exist, but you exist in my heart. I just joined the stream. What are we building? We're building a little bit of like a spooky bayou town. We're just kind of getting the basic area kind of put in right now. Just filling everything with water using a little command that essentially allows me to paint it as I walk around. Just a little easier than putting it all in through buckets. A little bit more interesting on stream. Maybe not more interesting, but at least faster. Filling water is not exactly the most fun thing to watch, but it's pretty much done. For at least now. We'll do other areas in a bit. Those aren't for this stream. I'm actually kind of shocked at how far we've gotten this stream already. It has not been long. There is still a lot of time left on stream to detail. I think we've got another like hour and a half before gonna wrap up. Let's put all this in. All right. That gives a lot better idea of how much water there actually is. Now, a lot of this is going to be covered by trees. Is the entire water filled with water? If not, it should push you down. Yeah. That's actually why I add that second command block, that replace water with water. That replaces all kinds of water, including flowing water, with water. Because if you just say fill with water, it won't overwrite flowing water, so it can glitch out a bit. But yes, if I sit right here, I mean, I guess if I float, it's not gonna. There's not actually a good way to test that. Just trust me, this is solid water. There is easier ways to fill this if you want to do it without commands, but it is kind of funny how many people don't understand water mechanics in this game. Just diagonal. Our future Nautilus aquarium is looking good. I do love that they add Nautiluses finally. In fact, I've added Nautiluses before to this game, so it's nice to see someone else doing it. You know, the actual devs. Just like a small little studio. Someday I should actually just show off because I added a mod that was like, I personally designed a mod that added like, I think it was 17 different like water creatures. That I just like made it off stream for no reason. See, I hate when my water is solid. Solid water is gross. You have to chew your solid water. Unless it's ice. Ice is nice. So, you hate solid water unless it's ice. Well, I think you're going to have a very good time then. Because that's the only kind of solid water we have here. I guess snow is technically ice. It's ice crystals, just not packed as much. Snow is sand. I don't know about, I guess kind of. It's like ice crystal sand, technically. So, what do we want to do here? Let's pick out all the plants we want. We want oak leaves. We want acacia leaves. We want birch leaves. We want dark oak leaves. Actually, I might need to narrow that down a little bit. We want azalea leaves. I want all of the leaves. We want propagule. Oh wait, we shouldn't do ground cover yet. We need to make trees first. Because ground cover is overruled by trees, pretty much. And I don't want to have to go back over it. So trees first. Let's do things in a proper order. So I'm not going to make these the way Minecraft generates them, because it's just not quite the tree you usually see in the bayou. In fact, I'm going to pull up I'm just going to Google bayou. Because I can just pull up an image that happens to have the trees I'm looking for. There we go. They're just very needs crocodiles. We could do that. You want me to add crocodiles right now? I will. I've got some. Genuinely. Let's see. So they're very just straight up trees with kind of these sparse branches that go out quite far. Screeching Leaper's uncle, yeah. Needs a giant crocodile that plays the trombone. Yeah, I think that would really add to the place. Really make it spooky. So it looks like, okay, let's try and make one of these trees right here. They are quite tall relative to their width. So they've got bases that look kind of like this. And as they go up, they just kind of have these sparse branches covered in leaves on kind of the outer edges a little bit. Leaves that also like hang down quite a lot. I actually think these are technically mangrove trees either. This is technically something else. Why don't we do something like that? See, is that wide enough for one of these branches? I think that's wide enough. And then maybe one over here. Maybe isn't quite as wide. So these feel pretty high up, which is kind of what we're looking for. Is this going to be a pain to add a lot of these around the land? Yeah. But the thing is, we don't have to do a lot every stream. We can kind of just mix in a few trees here and there, and eventually it'll fill out the place. It's all about just that incremental build-up. See, maybe one over here. It's a little bit more gnarled, so it goes off to the side a bit. We do need something to fill out this area a bit. So why don't we bring out some stuff right here. Frogmer just called me old. Well, yeah, Frogmer's like, what, like 14? So, yeah, everything's old to Frogmer. I did meet Frogmer. Frogmer's like a lot younger, and for some reason, it's so hard for my mind to change on certain people's age. So, whenever I get reminded that Frogmer's like older now, like an adult, that's just like in my mind. It's like, what? It's like a thing? People can age? It's crazy. Madness, really. You know, someday I'll probably remember that Frogmer is a human being that has time pass. Not today. Let's go through here. Let's see. Happy birthday, Disco. Is it Disco? Wait. Am I crazy? Wait, is that right? That's right, right? No. Wait, no, it's October. Wait, am I crazy? Am I being gaslit ridiculously? I fully just got so gaslit out of that. That's smart. No, wait. Am I being gaslit? Because I swear one time. Okay. There was. Was that. I cannot remember dates for the life of me. Genuinely, I have a thing that. Wait. No, that can't like. I might just be crazy. Because there's a thing that I'm like, oh, I remember we accidentally scheduled something on Disco's birthday one time. And I swear that thing was not for a bit. But now I'm confused that maybe I fully just didn't remember when that was. Am I crazy? Also, I can never remember days. I got surprised by my own birthday one time, so I might just be a bad friend. Maybe a little. Oh, Frogmer's here. Yeah, Frogmer. Minecon Live was on my birthday in 2019. I swear we accidentally started a Minecraft season in October and it happened to be on your birthday. But maybe I'm just crazy and that was in September. Because it is in late September, so maybe I'm just crazy. Or maybe we pushed it. Did we push it back? Maybe we pushed it back because of that. Now I'm just crazy. I might just be crazy. Man, people age. I don't understand it. I stopped doing that. Sounds familiar, but I genuinely have forgotten. That's like how I think of people's like birthdays a lot of the time. I have such a hard time remembering dates. It's a problem. I have sticky notes on my computer that reminds me of when things are. What age did you stop aging? Just like around like couple hundred. I've just been that way ever since. No longer age, I've decided. Good. That'll. We were just talking about how I just forget for American age. I think I was talking to Frogmer about this one time recently. That I was just like, Frogmer like said something at one point. I'm like, wait, what? You're that old now? I didn't know you had great grandkids. Crazy. And that's a true story. That's what it was, definitely. If I never age again, you can't forget exactly. For some reason, Frogmer and Meg are stuck in my mind as the ages I met them. And it just never changes. And I just keep getting reminded that that's not accurate. Let's make some like stray branches off to the side to really fill out the area a bit. Let's see, maybe one out here. That's true. I do have great grandchildren. Grafton thinks that everything that I don't think or see just unload doesn't process. Exactly. February 9th. That is that is true. I'm pretty sure that is wait, no, isn't it? Is it 9th or 10th? I know Frogmer's birthday is either 2 or 3 days after mine. I'm gonna be honest, there is genuinely probably 3 birthdays of anyone I know I can remember, and I always feel so bad about it every year. Let's see. And you're doing it to be consistent with other things to play, but I'm barely surviving off this Rayworld drip feed you're doing. Yeah, I could probably stream a little bit more Rain World. Maybe until I find another game to play, we could do a little extra. See, I think I should also get one for my birthday on February 9th in 2023. I know my best friend's birthday, who I've known since. So yeah, I've known them for over a decade, so I know that one. I know some of my immediate family, actually all of my immediate family, my own, and that is genuinely it that I can reliably remember. It is bad. I can't remember when most holidays are. Dates are so bad for me. It's like kind of worrying. What was I getting into? One shot, I think. What? New Frogmore was February 9th, but I didn't want to reveal it, didn't know sure I did. Yeah. I was actually close on that one. That's the closest I've been to guessing someone's or remembering someone's birthday in a while. I'm absolutely awful with names, so I can relate. I know someone who's awful with faces. They can't like they have a hard time discerning people's faces, so sometimes they'll like talk to someone and it'll be hard for them to identify them again. I won't say who it is, but there's someone I know who has that issue. I think just everyone has their kind of like thing. I think a lot of people just have something that is like some piece of information that slips their mind when they're trying to talk to people. For me, it's birthdays, which honestly, not one of the worst ones. Also, there's someone I know who has a birthday in October, and I'm pretty sure it's in late October. And I hold a little Halloween party with some people who live within a reasonable driving distance of where I live. Um, and I'm always so worried I'm gonna accidentally put it on their birthday and not know, and they're not gonna tell me. Mortified of that every year, including this year. And the stream just randomly muted itself, and I genuinely thought you were just not talking for a really long time. Yeah, I need to think for a moment. We could try Junglewood as well to maybe mix into this. There we go. That adds a little bit of something to it. You know what? How do we feel about pale oak and birch? Maybe that's too light. It is very light colored. Like the leaves of these trees are so light and pale relative to a lot. Oh, actually, in some areas they're more lush. I think for this we want pale. So I think we're actually gonna go with this as the leaves to cover the tree. Something a little bit more like kind of sparse and you know like this. And I think we're gonna take some of that the pale what are they called? Pale hanging moss. And incorporate that into it. So it's like kind of like that vibe. I think could be really spooky. It's always scary when people are talking about someone you're supposed to know and you pretend you know which face the name belongs to. Oh, here's an awful story. Um, I once went out on a date with someone and forgot their name. So the whole time I'm like, please don't have any time where I need to remember this person's name. That is like, I feel like probably one of the worst situations where I've ever forgotten someone's name. I felt so bad about it. It didn't go well, so it was fine. But oh, that was that was I don't usually get stressed out in social situations. That one, yeah. Like you'd have to have nerves of steel to not be worried in that situation. Something even worse is when someone who knows you greets you and you have no idea who they are. Yeah, that's awful too. That sounds like an extremely stressful day. Oh, it was. They start saying some stuff that's like, okay, yeah, you don't need to be saying all that. Some like strange political views. I'm not gonna go into it. It's like, cool, man. Bye. I'm gonna sneak out of here. See, this is why it's a good thing that if everyone thinks you're silly scatterbrained, lowers the expectations. Get to the two of the table. So, do you like milk? Oh, that would be the worst possible thing to say, I feel like. Chat, what's your opener if you're in? What's your go-to if you start talking to someone you want to like go out with? Why am I at this? I feel like I'm about to get the worst possible answers from chat. Do you like Pilk is probably gonna be the number one, of course. Also, more scammers will want to talk to you. I love when scammers message me. Genuinely love it. It's so good. I wish there was a way I could be like I could have other people send scammers my way. I love just talking to them for so long. Just wasting their entire day away. Just saying the most insane crap ever. It's so fun. See, openers, so have you heard about desert rain frog? It's pretty good. Let's see. Oh, there's submissions. I just checked the general chat. There's a submission for 500 sub special. I don't think that's gonna happen in the next 2 weeks. I'm just gonna predict it now. I don't think it's happening in the next 2 weeks. It would need to be 15 in like 12 days. I don't think it's happening. Unless I upload a roguelike video, then maybe. Let's see. I never used this one, but I would say, do you like a monk? Because I magically pull my monk slug cap plushie out of my back pocket. Yeah, it's a pretty good one. I mean, I'm sure that would work pretty well. It honestly might be a little too dense for a Bayou tree. I actually think I might need to trim it down a bit. Let's just trim this like way down. That looks a little bit more like what I'm looking for. What do you think about the game Battle Cat? That's a pretty good one. Is your is oh sorry, I thought the is was part of it. I almost like is your voice sounds like eggs. That's a pretty good opener. I do think it's so funny when people try and treat that kind of stuff like a science. It's like, no, it's not. Just say some crap. Then again, if I had good advice though, I probably would be using it better. So maybe I'm not the best source on that kind of opinion. Let's see. See, do these ones just go to like a flat top? Or do they like go up like this that I'm doing? I should probably reference the images. Oh no, they just actually kind of round out at the top. Ignore all this. That's why you look at your reference image. Let's see, where are the houses for this outdoors area? No. I'm putting the houses indoors because you said that. This is what happens when you say the words outdoors. This is the consequences of your actions. How do we like that tree? Actually, you know, it's missing a little bit right here. I kind of like that. Let's see. The stream doesn't have mid-roll ads vacation. It'll be a side banner ad. So every so often a guy holding a bottle will appear and it makes me angry every time I see his face. I have turned off as many ads as I can. Twitch still wants to run more and it's a pain. I don't even think I get profit for those. I don't think I get cut. Sucks. Or I should keep all my house indoors. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, with that many gems to flex, I think you probably can. See. Oh, this is very horrible. Twitch allows subscribers to rewind now, which means I could watch 2 minutes behind schedule without noticing. Oh, wait, is the sale still active for subs? I could make it even cheaper. They introduced a new feature where I can put a sale on it. I've never tried it. Wait, how cheap can I make everything? Can I make it? Can I make subs like 50 cents? Because that would be so funny. Wait, can I do 50 cents? Is that an option? Where would I even go for this? 35% off. Is that the only thing I can do? Oh. Oh, that's not as funny. No, I can't make stupidly low rates for subs. The only thing I can do is make it so it's 35% off 5 or more gifted subs, which is... that's a lot. Darn it. I thought it would be so funny if I could just make it like it's 50-cent subscribers. I'd make no money off that. I'd actually make like 25 cents a sub, but... darn it. That would have been funny. Oh, wait. If I don't use this time, it just expires? Yeah, sure, I'll put on a sale for 8 billion years. Wait, how can I start it? Oh, no, you can't combine it with the already existing sale. Darn it. I thought it'd be funny if I could stack them. Darn it, they thought of it. They thought of my strategies to make my subs dirt cheap and cheat myself out of money. No. Why have they done this to me? All I wanted is to just give out free subs. They thought of it. Sad. Alright, let's hang some Spanish moss from these trees. I think it would be so cool if you could just like put sub promotions on custom. So I could just be like, yep, today subscribers are 10 cents. Tomorrow they will be $20. Set up like a script that whenever someone buys a sub, it raises the price, and every day that goes by, it lowers the price. It's like a stock market. Why can't I do that? That would be so fun. That would be so good. I want that as a feature. I want the sub market. I'm gonna be honest, I feel like Twitch subs are too expensive. Genuinely. I just think they're too expensive. Prime subs? Great. Please let this happen because it would be so funny. Exactly. Yeah, okay, I'm going to bed now. Good night. Well, thanks for stopping by for a bit, Frogmer. I appreciate it. Oh crap, that means I gotta start my shift as a sleep paralysis demon soon. For no particular reason that would correlate. Do you think if I just emailed Twitch and said, hey, can I make subs the stock market? It would be funny for the bit. They'd listen. Oh yeah, we love Spanish moss. Or whatever it's called, pale hanging moss. To me, it's Spanish moss. Can you put leaf litter on water? There used to be a way to put carpet on water. Wait, can you still put carpet on water? You can. Do a little bit of this. Stay. I got killed by an anteater? I mean, that's not the worst way to go. It's a pretty good way. So, yeah, I was gonna make a joke about the Spanish moss, but then realized how racist it sounded. Yeah, I'm glad you rethought that joke then. That's probably wise. W stream. Hey, Duck. Long time no see. Hello. That is a creature I did not expect. How's it going? We're currently building a swamp. Slowly. We've only got this much done this stream, so not a lot. Quack. I mean, that's a pretty good statement. A bit controversial, but I mean, I agree with it. So, how about like here? Let me look at a reference image again. I've just Googled Bayou and I'm just scrolling through images looking at the trees. It looks like there's not a lot of like tiny trees, to be honest. Is this for the roguelike? No, this is just for fun. We built actually this is something Duck might find interesting because we've talked about this particular game a lot, especially recently. We just moved on from this build recently, that was inspired by Dying Light. This has just been slowly in the works over like 4 months. Slowly building out the whole city. Every interior and every bit of the sewer system. Because for some reason I decided to do all there's more stuff down there. I'm not gonna go all the way in there, but yeah. That's what we've been cooking. So we need a new project, so we're building Swamp. Does this mean you expected moths, apples, frogs, creepers, but no dogs? I guess so. Yeah, Archer's been recommending I play Dying Light 2 for a while. It's really good. I know he... Here's why. I know he likes Dying Light 1. And Dying Light 2 is just that, but better. He's really good. Dude, this one will be a little shorter. This is an interesting type of tree. I've never really built one of these before. It's kind of fun to play around with a brand new tree variety. Especially because I just love swampy environments a lot. They just look nice. Actually, I like that there. There we are. Maybe a little bit more of this. Yeah. And then we can texture it a little bit with some of this so it looks a little mossy. Nice like that. Maybe like a little taller. And then we'll bring in the same blocks to build the top area. Something like that. And we're done. That's the whole thing. Just kidding. Okay, fine, I'll get back to it. Let's go through here. Build all of this. Oh, I connect this up. Maybe like that. I don't know how that looks. That's a long branch. I think that's too long. Let's just start over. Is there a lore reason that the music sounds like it's depth when you listen with headphones? Or that music sounds like it's depth? Um, so how a lot of headphones work is they play sounds at a certain volume into each ear, a little bit more into one ear, a little bit less into the other, to kind of make it feel as if it is somewhere relative to you. Let's see. I don't know how building mods and games in Minecraft works, but if you can, it'd be cool to see these built in your game projects. Some of it may transfer over. I might play around with a kind of swampy area for the roguelike as well. That might be fun. Maybe I'll take some of these designs and just port them in, because I do believe there is ways to move stuff between worlds for this. So maybe I'll do a little bit of that. Sometimes it's just for the sake of building, but reusing stuff is always fine. I know I'm having so much trouble with this branch. That's a good branch. I'm fine with that one. Sometimes I just get really indecisive about a single tiny detail that no one will care about. Structure blocks work between worlds. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I always give my structure blocks really specific names for that exact reason. Let's see. Oh, that's too far out. Yeah, I'll bring this one a little further. And why don't we go here again? With just a small little branch. See, I don't trust the local saving system, so I always export the structure to my computer. That's fair. I think pretty soon there's going to be a stream where I play the roguelike on stream. I think I want to do it after I get the new bosses in. I've been just like busy conceptualizing one of them because I've been really stalled out by the D&D podcast thing that I've been working on. That has taken so much of my time and my creative energy. I just have not been able to get much work done on the roguelike, unfortunately. I know what the next boss battle is going to be, and it is a nightmare of work to get done for me. But it's gonna be so sick if I can get it to look right and like feel good to play. that's what's like keeping me motivated to get that one specific thing done and that vision created. But also, imagine the amount of work it took for the mummy to be created. It wasn't that much. It was a few modifications to evoker code and a new model and stuff. But the issue is the next boss is a trio. That is the plan currently. It is 3 bosses that all fight you at once with different abilities that complement one another, which is so much harder. And some of them have body types that aren't really in the game already. There's not really something I can work off of. Some of the code I'm going to be like using from existing things, like the breeze is going to be utilized with some fire abilities for one of them. But yeah, it's been kind of a difficult thing to get started on. I have them kind of conceptualized. But I'll just say the piglins have some pretty powerful individuals to throw at the player. And I think the players are going to be in some royal trouble. But speaking of being in trouble, I need to figure out how to put another branch on the side and fit it in. Or maybe I don't. You know what? Let's just branch off of here. I like that. Also, Zoglin Prime would be so easy. My idea for Zoglin Prime was just to give it like cooler looking like tusks and spikes and stuff, and then 2 big like chemical canisters attached to its back with a bunch of like hoses and stuff plugged in. There also might be something a bit more metal for the players to fight as one of the mini bosses. Though I worry about doing it justice. It might be a more trap-oriented fight. Oh, also there's been an update to the easiest mini boss. I'm not sure if you guys have noticed in any of those videos. No one has ever lost to the Skeletal Warrior. It's possible just back up at a slow speed and do enough knockback to not worry about it. So I made it harder. And oh boy, is it harder now. It's still definitely mini boss material. But I thought, well, this one guy is way too easy. Oh yeah, that's the issue. It's one guy. So there's now 2. That's it. That's the change. There's 2 now. It's a lot harder because you can't attack fast enough to knock them both back. It is still possible, but the entire intended way for that fight to work is leading them around the pillars and using those obstacles in the arena. And now it feels a little bit better along the, like, it's more of the gameplay experience I was going for. It's a very minor thing, but it is harder now. For the trio boss fight, do the bosses switch and aggro so the player only fights one enemy while the rest watch in the background until they switch out, or they all attack at once? They all attack at once, and you have to pick which ones you want to prioritize. There's going to be one that can break through walls in the arena and is kind of slow and is going to like chase the player down. There is a fast ranged one, and then there's one that kind of does support, I guess, I'll just say. Doing some AoE attacks. Essentially lighting things on fire to restrict the player's movement is kind of the plan on that one. The Shadow Folk, not quite. I'm excited for that boss. It's been one I've had conceptualized for a long time. Each individually, they're probably not going to be that strong, but going into a room with 3 enemies and having to face them all at once is going to be tough. And I might just throw some Piglin Brutes at the player for fun. I don't know, because I just think it's funny, I guess. I've been trying to decide if I want to give the last one like a fire attack like a blaze, or if I want them to summon in blazes, which would also be kind of funny, just to have just blazes being summoned at the player constantly. You know what? I keep saying funny. To me it's kind of funny to just make things difficult. Because it is very entertaining to watch people try and overcome them. The various challenges I create. But maybe that's not the right phrasing. That's a pretty good tree right there once we put the leaves on this last one. I like how this one came out. Hmm. Alright, let's put some Spanish moss on there. I've wanted to learn how to do a Spanish accent for a while. That's something I really that's like a particular accent I've wanted to learn for a long time. I can do a good few accents, but I'd love to expand my repertoire a bit, and that's just been one I've thought of doing for a while. I had a D&D character that I want to have that accent, and I've struggled with doing it right. Because I don't like it being as stereotypical usually. I kind of like going for a more grounded accent when I can. Some, like, if I'm going to do a dwarf, I'm probably doing an over-the-top Scottish accent, because that's what people think of with dwarves. But, I don't know, that the Spanish has been one I've wanted to learn. I can do Scottish passably, Australian, I can do a little bit of British. Um, there's another one, I don't know what it would be. I can kind of do the accent Victor has in Arcane as well, but I don't know what I'd say that is. Should totally have a Spanish D&D Spanish bard villain that beats people with maracas. I'm sure that wouldn't be offensive to anyone, and that would be fine to have. I actually do think it would be really fun to have a D&D bard. I think it would be cool to learn how to like sing at some point. I'm not good at it. There's like a few songs I know the lyrics to and can perform decently. And before you ask, no, I'm not singing on stream. Um, I do think that would be really fun though. It's just not anything I've ever had the time to hone. I mean, I think pretty consistently mimic most accents. I mean, that's pretty cool. I I struggle with it, to be honest. Oh, I can do Russian too. I always want to learn new accents and new voices because it's fun just to learn new ones. Archer karaoke night. There are people who have heard me properly sing, like in giving it my all. Um, Ender, Doombomb, Kyra Hammerstrom. Who else? Who would chat would know? I think those are the only 3 that chat would know. Maybe Chicken. Those ones have probably actually seen me properly try. I'm not very good at it, to be honest. Well, I'm left out, yeah, maybe so at some point. Maybe at some point you'll hear it. I think it would be very cool to have an original song for a D&D bard or character of some sort and actually properly like write and perform it. I don't know how to write music. I don't know how to sing. I don't know how to compose music. I don't even know where I get a background thing for it. I don't know the first step in that. I think that would be fun at some point if I ever just have the time to learn everything about that. But it's just not anything I've ever had time for. Maybe someday. Say, while I'm left out, I'll be just think, yeah. Yeah. Not a lot of people have heard it. See, you know, people do this for a wait, people make music for a living? I thought they just did it for free. Wait, what? Get lessons from them? Yeah, I probably could at some point. I I do think it would be interesting. I just don't know if I'd ever have the time to properly hone it. That's why I've kind of started doing a little bit of voice acting stuff when I can, and anytime there's characters in a game I'm playing on stream that don't have voice acting, I've been trying to do it, is because that is also something I just want to learn. So I just take opportunities to do it. I like making short musics in my free time. Only one song is full lyrics and about abolishing gas prices. That's good. Who knows, maybe I should start going to like some karaoke things or something, trying to hone it better. I don't think I would have a very good natural singing voice, to be honest. I don't really know. Because I'm not good at it in the first place, so how would I know? I love doing voices for games, but I get really self-conscious hearing my family hearing myself do it, you know? I'm just so used to the sound of my own voice that I just don't really care anymore. And everyone else who lives with me just knows that I I do weird things sometimes on the internet. Or just like I'm saying strange things in a strange voice. There's so many things I'd love to learn how to do someday. And there's just never enough time. Who knows, maybe that would be a good video series. I just try and learn an entirely new skill that I've never done before. Like, properly learn an entire skill. But then I have to edit videos, and that's like that. Genuinely, the thing that holds me back the most in making videos is editing. I don't like it. I don't like editing. I will do so much to just not have to worry about it. Yeah, I've seen some videos that are like learning Blender in 30 days. Yeah, learning how to sing in 30 days. I wish I had the time to do that. Should I multi-class into Bard in our D&D campaign so I can screech and sing for a bit? Let's see. I don't think any Ace in the Roll members are watching because this is technically a future campaign that they're gonna do. Oh, I just started yawning. There's like something important that a bard is needed for in that campaign, though there is a way to do it without a bard that's built in. In fact, there's two. Let's see, let's go over here with this one. Let's see, a fun bard idea. Offensive instead of supportive makes the enemies die of bad music. I mean, that bards can't do that. If I remember right, um, the campaign that Ace in the Roll is currently playing, if I remember right, Duck's character when we played that with them, this was an or off camera version. This is actually the first time I ran it. Duck's bard character, if I remember right, killed the final boss with its own attack, which was so unbelievably hype. It was your character, right, Duck? I'm like 99% sure it was. Yeah, no, wait, it had to have been. Yeah, I can't explain why, but it had to have been. Only your character could have done that because of some items. That was probably one of the most hype kills I've seen in D&D, to be completely honest. That was not at all what I had planned. It was so much better than what I had planned. That's why I love like that kind of thing, because things will just go differently than you plan them, and that's fun. I love it when players surprise me. So thematic too. Oh yeah. Ace in the Roll cast will have the opportunity to do the same thing. Only Ducks can understand what would set them up to do the same thing. And I can't say it, obviously. But they will have the same ability that you have or had at the end of the campaign. So it is technically possible for them to pull the same thing. And now I'm really hoping they do, because that's so much cooler. There's just something so funny about the final boss getting killed with their own attack reflected back at them. I will say, editing has been such a problem for Ace in the Roll. We have 12 unedited episodes, I think. And that's why we've been on hiatus, because no one wants to edit them. I've been too busy with my own streaming and YouTube stuff, and now, holy cow, I almost just spoiled something huge. I was one word away. When I said and, I was one word away from saying something that would have been a problem. Holy cow, I'm glad I think through what I say first. That was worryingly close. Holy cow, thank you for the bits, American style scrambled egg. Holy cow. Wow, thank you. I really appreciate that. I appreciate that so many of them are just separated out into ones. That looks so funny in chat. Thank you. That's very generous. That'll help fund future streams, since all that just goes right back into it. I feel like this tree isn't looking quite right. Something's off. I mean, it might be that I just started thinning out the branches too early. It also might be that the bottom's kind of unbalanced. Why don't we bring a branch out this way a bit? I think this will fix it. That helps. Let's see. Still haven't finished the Lore Dogs Racecraft campaign, so sorry, I'll get motivation to finish that soon. It's fine, you don't need to worry about it. It's all for fun at the end of the day. I have been in just lore purgatory recently. Endless writing of lore. Because I need to build an entire world in a month. Which is such a small time frame to get that done. But it's happening. So, it's getting there. I am hoping to be able to reveal more stuff soon. Honestly, jealous that you can sit down and write lore. I can't, is the issue. My ADHD gets so bad. I genuinely sat down recently to write. Because I've written like lore documents and stuff already. But I sat down to write the proper like campaign like notes. Because I like to have my lore and settings and stat blocks. And then I just like to have a section that's just here's the major plot points that need to happen. Get this information to the players somehow. Or make sure the players get to this place. And I wrote one thing. I have it all in my head, but I just need to get it down on paper. The intro to... Oh my gosh, I keep almost saying it. Here's the thing, I like think through what I'm about to say like a little bit before, so it's almost like it's almost, imagine like my brain writes out a sentence, right? And it's at the bottom of one of those sing-along videos where it like lights up as you go. So then I'll just realize what the next word I'm about to say is and be like, nope, can't say that. I swear, I'm gonna accidentally spoil this at some point. Or the new D&D thing that will be happening soon, and I won't say the name of, even though I almost have 30 times. I've been, what in the world was I talking about? What in the world was I saying before I got sidetracked by forgetting what I was, because I almost said something I wasn't supposed to, and then I forgot what I was talking about. Great. We love to see it. Okay, go. Thank you for the stream slash ASMR. You're welcome. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. So, good idea when writing lore. If it sounds cool enough, give it its own area, make it relevant somehow. That is how I wrote the world for my second full-length campaign that I ever wrote. Which I have 87 pages of lore written about. And, well, not just lore, notes. It takes so many notes to run D&D properly. Like, if you want to make it like a... Because, I mean, having more information is good. So the more you can add, the better. But holy cow, does it get a lot sometimes. Oops, what did I just break? That, okay. Talking about only writing one lore, oh yeah. Yeah, I have so much more in here, right? Well, I mean, lore I have. I know what like different cities and stuff for the campaign I'm running for that show is like. I know what their exports and imports are. That's how much I know. A lot of it I've memorized. I've been working on memorizing it so I can just remember everything. Because it's much faster than pulling it up. But it's a lot. It's the most in-depth lore for a world I've ever written. It's going to be very dark fantasy, very cottagecore at the same time, depending on where you are. But it'll be very nice. Oh yeah, wait. Here's what I was talking about. Good idea when writing lore. If it sounds cool enough, give it its own area and make it relevant somehow. That's what I was responding to. That is how I wrote my second campaign ever. I thought up cool ideas for areas, and then I just made it a thing. Let's see, I made a few fake government documents when I was actually able to come up with some cool stuff, but I'm horrible at making it sound professional, so it's sound professional like it's at some top secret facility. I really enjoy it. I just heard such a loud crashing sound. I don't know if it picked up on the mic. Okay, never mind. It sounds like it's fine. But that was interesting. Let's see. I really like writing in different styles. It's kind of interesting. I like try and make things sound like more professional or more scary or that kind of stuff. I've just always had a knack for just good vocabulary. That was just something I always excelled in like elementary school and onward. So I've just kept that up. I frequently just say things that no one else understands, and then I have to explain them, and it's a problem. I don't do that as much on stream, to be honest. I've kind of stopped using a lot of the fancier words I used to, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's more understandable. But, you know, I just found it works a little bit better to actually communicate with people when they understand what in the world you're saying. That's crazy, but I would say it works pretty good when you do that. See. Do a little bit of this. I might want to make some of these that are a little bit more sparse, to be honest. See, it's important that one sea has fish in it because I like fish. No, I'll say spoiler. There is a town in the lore for that new show. It starts with an X. Actually, it's technically an entire faction that is just the Undersea faction, pretty much. And their main thing that's going on there is since they were underwater, they were pretty much untouched by the major cataclysm that a lot of the other races had to deal with. And they didn't help anyone. They actually broke a lot of alliances to just kind of peace out, so no one likes them. But there's fish people. You know, I'll say the name too. The actual faction is called Zatlimara. The Zatlimaran people. That is a thing. I don't think that's that much of a spoiler. Zatlimara, spelled exactly like that. Yep. Perfect guess on the spelling. It's just so fun just creating a little world. Like, it's fun to do in Minecraft too. Like, I want to think of a little bit of lore about this town and stuff as well and kind of integrate it. How does a Zatlimaran taste? Oh, um, depends on the race, but mostly kind of like a fish. Like a catfish, mainly. Or maybe like a mahi-mahi. If you ever had any of those. Should we make these longer? Like, I feel like it might be even spookier if these, like, hang down really low. Milkfish flavors Zatlimar sounds yummy. I don't know if they'd appreciate being devoured. How do we like the long moss? I think it might just be a little too long. Actually, on the ground, it feels better. Actually, I kind of like that. Yeah, let's bring it all down a little bit. Can bring some of these down a little bit further as well, just to kind of match that. On the edges, maybe it's not quite as far down. That's kind of nice. But the gray makes it haunting looking. Perfect. Yeah, we could add a little bit of pale forest and pale moss to this whole place. You know, I think maybe not every single one needs to be hanging as far down. Like, why don't we maybe make it a little bit more sparse which ones actually go that far? Yeah, I think that looks nice, because then there's actually some that like get in your way and obstruct your vision a bit. But it's not as overpowering anymore. I think this is definitely a good look at just kind of the vibe of what we want to start with. Why don't we get a little bit of other stuff incorporated in? Seagrass and drip leaf. Even a firefly bush. Bushes, ferns, grass. I'm back. That's a cool looking tree. Well, thank you. Been trying to make some that are similar to real bayou trees. Let's try out just a little bit of ground cover. I am forgetting some of these blocks you can't place things on. Might be a problem. Is that too bright? We could tone it down a little bit by making it acacia leaves. Here's the thing, not a lot of people know the difference between acacia, dark oak, and oak. I do. I understand the difference. I'm one of those strange people who actually knows when to use each leaf type because they do look different. They do look different. I have a texture pack on that makes oak leaf and dark oak leaf different shades. It just makes dark oak darker. Dark oak leaves naturally, I think this texture pack actually makes them a little lighter, like have a few more holes in them. Dark oak leaves have less transparency. There's less gaps between leaves. The amount of leaves is actually thicker. It's hard to see through them. And acacia next to oak, you can see acacia has a lot smaller leaves. And there's a lot more transparency. So if I didn't have this texture pack on, we'd almost have a gradient from the most obscured to the least obscured. Leaves look all the same. You're crazy thinking I might be colorblind. It's not about the color, it's about the amount of transparency. See, if you like look at the shapes of the leaves, like here's a leaf, they're smaller and different shape than these ones. This has smallest leaves, this is middle ground leaves, this one has the widest leaves. Except with this texture pack, it doesn't in this texture pack. You'll just have to trust me that normally it has leaves. Jungle leaf is not very transparent. Well, that one's easy to tell the difference. The rest of the leaves are really easy to tell apart. I actually quite like acacia leaves for swamp because it works as duckweed pretty well. Because I can kind of just like leave little bits of like floating stuff out here. It just kind of looks like duckweed floating on the water. If I want to like fill in an area like this, I can make it just look like a bunch of those kind of floating plants that have just kind of accumulated, like some frog bit. This is definitely for areas where you would assume there's less water flow. That's why I'm putting it right here, because there's water flow right here that goes past it. So we're going to want some more here. Stuff like that. And we're not going to want it like in the middle of the rivers as much. Warp trapdoor with a pink coral fan on it. I don't believe that works in this version, but I will try. I believe that doesn't work. Yeah, it just immediately goes to that. What's funny is I believe it actually works with the full coral. Like, I'm pretty sure this one works. For some reason. No idea why. But that is just how it works, and I don't know why. And it kind of sucks that that's how it works. Oh, by the way, I don't really like how the firefly bushes look as much when they're out and about. Though I think for here, it's probably fine. Also, I gotta decide what kind of leaves I want as, like, ground cover. I'm kind of thinking these. Go. The curl fans could work as foliage with the whole pale vines look. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. That is fair. Oh, yeah, we also want a bunch of these over here. Lily pads are usually grouped up a lot because they just kind of get washed into the same location with each other. They mixed in with all the frog bit and duckweed and stuff. If only duck were still here, having a good time. Then we can also add some reeds. Sugar cane. Oh yes, this happens now, I forgot. Ew. Ew. Anyway. Actually, I think they reduced the range at where it happens. Doesn't mean I like it, though. Maybe some of these sprouting up out, just various river rushes. And then we want a little bit of land ground cover. There we are. Just putting in some ferns and grass and bushes and everything else. It may look random, but I'm very specifically choosing places for everything. There we go. That's a look at what this is probably going to look like. How about just some regular tall grass? Like double tall grass? I don't know about double. I mean, we could do double. That might look as river rushes, actually, right on the edge. Yeah, actually, it pulls it off as this. I respect it. We want this very overgrown, like a lot of just stuff growing. But still like very clearly separated out into like where it makes sense to grow. You should add crocodiles. We could do that. Should I? Yeah, I'll do it right now. That'll be the last time we do this stream. Oh, I didn't mean to click on that. Screeching Leaper by you. Exactly. Let's hope this still works. Okay, wait. Where's the... in here? There we are. Crocodile. Getting a lot of gray ones. They're loud. There we go. We got the white one. And now they just file off into the swamp, disappearing beneath the water. They're actually pretty camouflaged, especially over here. Like that is a little scary. Let's see, I got some other ones to play with. Yeah, we got the Nautilus early. What's a big guy that would live here? Yeah, mud crab. Catfish. Yeah, maybe I'll do a video on this at some point. I did just like make all these things earlier. Like I just decided, you know, I'm just gonna make all this because why not? Yeah, we'll probably end the stream right about here. So thank you, everyone, for watching. And I will see you in a future video or stream as we continue work on this and probably pick out a new game pretty soon as well. So I'll sign out with the sound of a million crocodiles. There they go. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Subscribe, follow, all that stuff. Bye!